strength all along. His suspicion was confirmed when his eyes landed on the bodies of his men. Kuryandu's suspicions were now undeniable facts. He urgently called out to Tabialian, but it was too late. Tabialian was lost in his own delusion, basking in the illusion of his own power. But in the next second, what awaited him wasn't the chance to dominate his opponent, but a raging inferno burned him down to a crisp. Seeing his champion defeated, Kronda immediately ordered all his forces to attack. He demanded they kill this arrogant mage. This magic circle, etched onto magic crystals, contains a spatial transportation spell. It creates an unbreakable dimensional barrier. This is my gift to the invading monster army, a welcome present to the human world, until my magic runs out, or I'm killed. Anyone who passes through this wall will be endlessly teleported back inside. And after I instantly obliterated Tabulan, their champion, Kronda's jaw dropped. So he immediately ordered all his men to attack, to take down this arrogant mage who dared to defy him. But I merely scoffed. I summoned a fire magic circle and launched a relentless barrage of fireballs into the sky. Those fireballs passed through the barrier and teleported, continuing their assault. Under this merciless bombardment, the orcs scattered like rats. But while I was focused on my spell, a sharp sword suddenly shot towards me. It struck me true, but thanks to the Mirror of Truth's protection, it was a useless attack. Exposed, the goblin archer immediately turned to flee. But I wasn't about to let him escape. A single fireball blasted it into dust. Just then a notification popped up. Obtain the title, Incarnation of Hellfire. From now on, all fire magic damage will be increased by 100%. I've also learned a new spell, Serpent's Fury. I knew it. Jared said my body was suited for fire magic. To achieve this as just a level 4 mage is incredible. Meanwhile, Kronda was fuming. He berated his men for their incompetence. He's facing just one person, and they haven't even laid a finger on me? The next second, a fireball landed squarely on his mount. If you're so eager to fight, why not come down yourself? Let's see what you're really made of. With a deafening boom, Kuryanda hefted his massive warhammer and launched himself into the air. I easily evaded him with a blink. Unexpectedly, Kuryanda's killing intent was incredibly precise. He predicted exactly where I'd reappear after the blink. So, I quickly cast a strength enhancement spell to brace for the impact. At the same time, I unleashed a fire spell at his head. I easily broke free from Kuryanda's control. I gave him no time to recover, immediately following up with another fire spell. Although Kuryandu was already scorched everywhere else, but it wasn't enough to deal a fatal blow. He possessed a rapid regeneration ability. However, I quickly devised a counter-strategy. So next, I subjected him to a 2.5-minute alternating barrage of ice and fire. And when the moment was right, I immediately unleashed my newly acquired skill, Fire Serpent's Fury. Kronda, on the other hand, was completely baffled. He wondered, am I really human? How can he constantly grow stronger during battle? Naturally, his reaction was understandable. After all, I had the Druck bracelet, an artifact that absorbs negative emotions within a 50-meter radius to enhance its power. Seeing his Legion commander on the verge of defeat, the rest of them immediately turned tail and tried to flee back to Capricorn. But with that sweet XP on the line, I couldn't just let them escape. Then, in the next second, everything around me froze. Time stood still. Suddenly, the entire monster army, including Chrome, was sucked into a dimensional portal. I was left standing alone, channeling my magic, but forcibly closing a dimensional portal? That's something only a demon lord could do. Maybe I should just forget about it. It's not like I'll run into him anytime soon. Still, thanks to whoever that was, I was able to finish the quest safely before the barrier disappeared. It's a shame about all that lost XP, but as a reward, I got a new title, Monster Slayer, effective against any non-human target, increasing all magic damage by 250% and permanently boosting my mana by 500. On top of that, reaching level 50 upgraded my insight skill to level 2. Besides seeing through an opponent's true nature, it unlocked a new ability, Weakness Analysis. It intuitively guides my attacks, increasing the chance of exploiting an enemy's weakness. It doubles my critical hit chance. I successfully defended Caribia. I fulfilled my father's dying wish to protect our territory without any losses and repel the monster horde. Meanwhile, Bartman was furious because Kapuri, who promised to protect his lands, abandoned him and joined another side. He knew if this kept up, I'd eventually swallow Ratri whole. But speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Batman's butler burst in with alarming news. My lord, we're under attack. Hearing this, Batman trembled in fear. So, Jared finally made his move. But the butler's next words reignited his arrogance. It was just a minor rebellion, he explained, a measly 100 or so of his own men. Batman quickly donned his armor, gathered his elite soldiers, and marched out to crush the traitors. They weren't Korea, after all, just insignificant rats. He could easily exterminate them. But what Batman didn't know was the power behind this rebellion. Calibia's newly established elite force, the Jared Guard, only 10 members strong, but in a mere 10 minutes, they completely decimated Batman and his hundreds of soldiers. They were utterly routed. And so, Ronella officially fell under Calibia's rule. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. Then one day Maya sought me out. She brought news of the king's recent passing. To confirm my suspicions, I asked Maya to recount the events surrounding his death. He said that after his father's death, Ian's condition worsened drastically. The high priest feared he wouldn't last a month. History had indeed changed. Could it be because of my interference? After all, under normal circumstances, Ian should have lived for at least another 10 years. But since this happened because of me, I'll take responsibility for it. I then gave Myra 3 tasks. First, Talon's second prince will soon come looking for me. I plan to give a vague response, maintain a neutral stance. Second, Prince Iziel must not be involved in the fight for the throne. Have him help mediate the conflict between the other princes. At the same time, strengthen ties with those close to Prince Ian. Those people have deep connections with the royal family. They definitely don't want to see a civil war. Third, if the second task is successful, and the civil war is postponed, then, by any means necessary, gather video or audio recordings that prove the Umbra cult is connected to the second and third princes. For this, Myra gave me her sincerest thanks. Then she left. Meanwhile, I found a place to review Caribia's internal affairs. Everything's progressing quite well. It's comparable to Caply territory, a mid-tier territory, but now I also have Ronella to manage. I need to find someone competent to govern it quickly. Otherwise, if Julian or someone else gets sick, or gets overworked and needs rest, managing the territory will become a huge problem. Suddenly, someone called out to me from behind. It was the 9th level Grand Mage, Bernhard, the only 9th level Grand Mage on the continent. He was also instrumental in my promotion to 5th level Mage. This NPC has always been skeptical of me. He's always been a doubter. After all, even for a genius, there's never been any guarantee that someone could reach the next level, especially not me, Barrett, the reckless fool. Before I tackled the ancient Suzuki dungeon, I sent a letter to Bernhard. I claimed to have discovered a secret, a surefire way to become a level 5 mage. I wrote that I needed his guidance to unlock it. But what Bernhard didn't know was that this was just a quest for me. The objective? Find him, the wandering sage. Whether the lead was true or not, Bernhard's duty has always been to guide the next generation, to help them ascend. So, he decided to find me and see for himself. After a long and arduous journey, Bernhard finally arrived in Kal-Elia. Soldiers. At the same time, his attitude towards me subtly shifted. He saw how I managed the territory, using innovative methods, and swiftly conquered the neighboring territory, taking complete control. As for what's next, naturally it's time to ask him to pledge his allegiance to us. But seeing my eager expression, Bernhard immediately felt uncomfortable. He waved his hand dismissively and said, "Don't even dream of me becoming your master. I won't have any dealings with anyone." To this I replied, I wasn't even thinking of making such an unreasonable request. Awkward. Bernhard was left speechless. He jumped to conclusions. He basically spoke out of turn. And as Bernhard's teachings began, my thoughts drifted back to my first moments in this world. At first, I just wanted to survive. That's why I started developing my territory. But as it grew, my understanding changed drastically. Now, the people I meet aren't just NPCs. They're real people with real emotions. My abilities haven't made me arrogant. I know how powerful my enemies are. They fill me with anxiety and fear. Even knowing the walk throughs and exploits, I'm still just human. I'm not perfect, and history has been derailed by my actions. Suddenly, my body erupted in blinding light. This proves it. I've successfully reached level 5 as a mage. Bernhard was completely stunned. For a full 2.5 minutes, he was in disbelief. Who could reach level 5 just by listening to someone ramble? Only after witnessing me master the 5th level spell, invisibility, did Bernhard finally accept it. Everything I said was true. Just a few words of guidance from me, and he succeeded? Even I couldn't have done that back then. Could it be? Barrett's son truly has a special talent. From that moment on, even considered taking me as his apprentice. He thought that even without his intervention, I'm destined for greatness in the future anyway. So he decided to drop the thought. Feasting his eyes on Pang was enough. As for me, seeing Bernhard in such a hurry to leave, I asked him where he was going. The Eastern Continent. That was his answer. And with that, the first season of conquering the F-rank territory comes to an end. Zhang Jie has already updated to 135 episodes. Although the current viewership is, let's just say, abysmal, I'm still hoping for a miracle, a turn of fate. As for dropping the project, unless it's absolutely necessary, it's not something I'll consider. Friendly reminder, Season 2 seems to have a new artist, but the story is still fantastic. And just like that, a new year arrived. The first thing I did? I drank that experience potion, the one I got from defeating Mahat 3. Chugged it down in one go, actually. But if you fill the empty bottle with holy water, on January 1st each year, it triggers a reset glitch. So the new year started with a happy level up to level 3. I pumped all those stat points straight into magic power. After all, items and skills both cost mana to use. That being said, level 63 is still pretty low. Druck's bracelet helps close the gap, but leveling up still has its perks. Big perks, it seems. After I finish dealing with the Syndic Kingdom's affairs, I'll need to take my apprentices dungeon diving for training. Training for what level again? Just that, thanks to Julian's prodigious understanding of monster administrative studies and his profound insights, I received 10 ability points as a reward. That's right, Julian has also become part of my apprentice training program. This reminds me of something I was thinking about 4 months ago. In Paradiso, every time your magic level increases, you receive a system reward. So, before even becoming a level 5 magician, I had already decided which reward to choose. From the mountain of options, I chose the Master Apprentice System Enhancement. It raises the apprentice limit to 8. In other words, it lets me become an ultimate apprentice hoarder. A total grind, you know? As my apprentices grow stronger, I reap the small rewards of their development. So, I poured my efforts into training Julian, Algie Raskis, and Chloe. I've fully embraced my role as their mentor. Beyond that, I've also made strides in crafting. This is a high-level skill in Paradiso, something only a few players dare to attempt. It involves disassembling multiple artifacts and then forging a new one from their cores, combining their essence into a new creation. But if I fail, the original artifacts are destroyed forever. However, I have plenty of artifacts to experiment with. Even if they're destroyed, it won't hurt too much. Plus, I have the Craftsman's Chisel, boost my chances of success with crafting, increase the probability of a successful outcome. 2.5 months flew by in a flash. After countless sleepless nights and relentless work, I finally created the legendary artifact every player dreams of, the Para Ring. It can categorize and dismantle 7-star or higher artifact cores. It allows for special fusion of unique skills. During the core fusion process, there's a 10% chance to gain a bonus special skill option. All those sleepless, foodless nights and the resources spent were worth it. With the Para Ring, I can finally confidently fuse higher-level artifacts through advanced crafting techniques. Just then, Chloe, with Hayes' help, found me. I just realized that our morning training session was already 13 minutes overdue. Cut to the next scene, I'm sparring with Chloe. I acknowledge his current strength, so I'm not holding back. I'm attacking with everything I've got. After 2.5 hours of sparring, Chloe suddenly lights up. Although I've completely anticipated all of his attacks, he's still ecstatic thinking about the 21.5 hours of sparring left. Meanwhile, I lightly tap the back of Chloe's neck. Suddenly, he lets out an indescribable sound. I ask him what he's thinking about. I thought you were waiting for me to attack, I say, but you seem distracted. Chloe responded nonchalantly, saying it was nothing. But in truth, she had considered letting me attack her position. The timing just wasn't right. To play it safe, I decided to postpone our sparring. Chloe apologized for the misunderstanding. I told her not to worry about it. After all, this was just training, not actual combat. Still, a reminder was necessary. Don't let it happen again. Suddenly, Rakiz approached me with an urgent matter. He informed me that the civil war in the Kingdom of Des was escalating. The second and third prince's factions were in open war. This was all according to my predictions. Then I inquired about the training progress of the Korean military. Rakiz reported that everything was proceeding smoothly, thanks to the intense training we've done every day for the past 6 months. Even the new recruits have become a usable strategic force. As for the former Royal Guard led by Old Man Ocean and that Special Forces unit, they've also participated in the training. Their teamwork is excellent. But getting back to the point, Rakiz still feels the most important thing is this thing I gave him. It's incredibly useful. It can even shatter a high-quality iron sword with one swing. Of course it's useful. I personally custom-made it for you. Then Rakiz was ready to report another crucial piece of information. To prevent any leaks, he asked me to cast a soundproofing spell. Then he said, the surveillance devices we installed around the territory have paid off. We captured footage of several dark mages attempting to cast forbidden magic just outside of Calibia's borders. Based on our interrogation, we can confirm their affiliation with the Umber cult. As for the forces backing them, it's the neighboring territories of Acura, Mudland, and Retica. While this is good news, it means history is unfolding 3 times faster. According to the original timeline, the Umber cult's attack should still be in its infancy, but now they've already infiltrated multiple territories. Currently, they've infiltrated multiple territories. It seems I need to reconsider my knowledge of the Umber cult. I need to think 3 times faster, 3 times more accurately. As for what to do next, obviously I'll seize and merge those 3 territories, eliminating any potential Umber cult presence with